So the search for pure substances, things that had regular properties, was on. And what happens is we need to understand a few terms. I mentioned them in the last little discussion, that an atom is the smallest unit of an element. If you have something that is only made of one atom, the smallest unit of that is called an atom. We're going to say that's the smallest divisible unit of matter. Now, to differentiate that, a molecule is any combination of atoms. When they're not just single atoms there and there's some combination like H2O, that's a combination of atoms, that's a molecule. That combination is a molecule. They do have to be chemically tied. In other words, they have to be set in a set ratio. Sugar has 6 carbons with 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens, for instance. So the smallest unit is of a compound is called a molecule. Remember, elements and compounds were pure substances, and their smallest part for an element is an atom, and the smallest part of a compound is a molecule. Now, they're usually given as atomic symbols, and those are the shorthand form of the elements that are being discovered. They're usually named after their English name, but some of the times they can be named after Latin or Greek or German name for the equivalent. So you'll notice that the letter has nothing to do with the English name for those. While every country in the world has the same periodic table, the name may change underneath, but the symbols do not. Now, we've taken all of the known matter, where there are 88 natural occurring elements, and there are some that are man-made, that especially at the bottom of the table, you'll see usually they're given a symbol with their mass in like square parentheses in the periodic table I've given you. Okay, so here's the one that I've given you that's downloadable so that you can use, and I would recommend printing that off. It's 2 pages, so print that double-sided if you can. But some of these names were given because of where they were found. The sun, the element helium was found in the sun and named after Helios. You can notice some are named after places in actual geographies. Europium is found in, honor of Europe. Americium for the North America. Some are named after local places where they were created. Californium and Berkelium. Others are dubnium, which was created in Russia in their research facilities. Others were just named because they were found at a certain place. This is a mine here in Sweden that has been rich in rare elements, so that the city was called Ytterby. So they named it Ytterbium, and then when they found another one, but they couldn't call it Ytterbium, they named it Yttrium, and then they named it Terbium, and then Erbium, because they kept finding new elements. So the elements have certain names. Others are named after famous scientists like Einstein or Madame Curie, Rutherford, Nobel. I'll get those. You'll notice those are at the bottom of the periodic table a lot of times. And some had just mythic inspirations, like Mercury was the god of the messengers of the gods. Uranos, which is the Titan who gave birth to the gods in Greek mythology. Pluto and Thorium. Pluto is the god of dead. So you'll see that the names are come from inspirations. Here's some of those that were in Latin or in German, so I've given you a list of those, and you should be familiar with those first 3 rows. So take some time to practice the elements on this sheet, just so you get used to looking them up.